Hello, and welcome to today's episode of In a Nutshell. I'm Andrew, and this is Chris. And today's going to be an interesting episode because we're going to talk about how brands are using AI. And there's going to be quite a personal story, actually, from Chris, because Chris and his business partner, Paul, had a very exciting, let's say, adventure when it comes to working with one of the biggest brands in the world because of generative AI and what they've been doing over the last year. So, without further ado, really, Chris, what happened with you and this particular brand?
Oh, cheers, mate. Yeah, it was a magical experience, as you said. Everything didn't seem real until it actually came true. And it started with me and Paul really loving using Midjourney and having to come up with daily ideas. And one of those ideas was, what if Coca-Cola was a luxury brand? And we decided to put that out onto LinkedIn, on Paul's personal LinkedIn profile, and it caught the eye of a few Coke employees, and they all Slack messaged it through to the head of marketing at the time. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, it was perfect timing, really, because they were launching an AI incubator, asking AI artists to contribute to their first ever generative AI campaign. Oh. And we happened to catch the wave at exactly the right time when it was breaking. And we were part of the original 3 artists that launched the campaign on billboards worldwide. And we flew and went to actually see these because we couldn't believe, as I said, that it was actually there at Piccadilly and actually there in Times Square. So we went to go and see for ourselves. And then very recently, we just got back from the Atlanta workshop, which was a competition that the billboards were running. And it was our artworks on the billboards and then a QR code for fans to download a Coca-Cola AI app. And so you could generate, using Coca-Cola assets, future marketing materials for Coca-Cola, and 30 fans were chosen to fly to Atlanta with us and have a workshop on generative AI from NVIDIA and all these other amazing companies. It was really an awesome experience. Yeah.
So hold on, let's just quickly summarize this. You was using Midjourney, you and Paul. So Paul Parsons, everyone, just Google Paul Parsons, look at him on LinkedIn, does amazing stuff. So you and Paul were doing stuff on Midjourney. You've done Coke as a luxury brand. So it's a great concept. Coca-Cola heard about this, said this is amazing. You won some form of competition.
So that's the part that many people get confused about. Sorry if I skipped over that part. But so essentially, they then asked us, we're partnering with OpenAI, and for the purpose of this campaign, we need artists to generate 100 DALL-E images. So this was separate to Midjourney and wasn't part of any competition. They essentially commissioned 100 images from us to then be displayed on the billboards that then the competition ran from the billboard campaign. So our stuff was never part of the competition. We were essentially just asked to produce 100 images for part of the original billboard campaign. Yeah.
And then that billboard was Times Square and Piccadilly.
Yeah. Wow. And a few others, but they were the ones that we were able to go and see.
Wow, that's the big boys there. That's the big boys.
Yeah, well,
and Piccadilly.
Was it the legendary advertising billboard? So that's why we wanted to go see those ones.
Was it on the same day? So how did you see it? Was it over 2-3 day period? Did you have to literally go Times Square, say, hey, take a picture of yourself for the gram, and go over to Heathrow and over to New York? Was it how did that work?
Almost. So Piccadilly was running, luckily, a few weeks before Times Square, and it was running on the cycle. So on the main hours of 6 p.m., 7 p.m., it would run for a 20-minute slot and be a full board takeover, which was amazing to see because on the curved billboard and the LED, the whole street was red. But in New York, it was running 24/7 continuously because Coca-Cola owns that billboard. So they can display there whatever they like for as long as they like. And it's slap bang in the middle of Times Square. So on the main Piccadilly one, we were like, oh, my God, this is cool. It's a full board takeover. And it's running, in 20-minute slots. But then when we got to New York and it was just there all of the time, it was there for weeks. Wow. And it was, I think, a month in total is how long they ran it for. And then they ran the winners for a month after that on their images that were being selected were posted onto these billboards. So it ran continuously for a few months.
So then you then went to Atlanta to the main Coca-Cola headquarters, and you was with the winners, and some of the winners were other brands, large brands, and yeah.
Well, no, the other winners were agency side staff, it turned out, and just curious marketers. And they were talented people. They weren't just, you know, random Coca-Cola fans. Pratik, who was the main contact at Coca-Cola, had handpicked basically experts or already to come and collaborate as is this workshop. So it was less of a, you know, introduction session and more of a rounding up of interesting people using these tools to then have a specific Coca-Cola brief. That's how it turned out. But we thought prior that it was just going to be 30 random lucky winners, and then it turned out that these were like handpicked individuals that were very good at what they do.
So this is crazy. So Coca-Cola, was it just like a one-off competition? This is like a concept, like this is cool at the moment, let's do something, jumping on the kind of the bandwagon, or is this them saying, look, we're serious about AI, this is actually going to go somewhere?
Oh, it's very much the latter. Yeah, this is, so they called it Create Real Magic 1.0. They already discussed with us what Create Real Magic 2.0 will look like. I can't talk about that yet, but in future episodes, hopefully be able to talk about that. But yeah, so it's very much there, dipping their toe in the right way, with the right people, and showing, you know, via a lot of money. Let's be honest, they flew 30 people from around the world to Atlanta with visas, hotels, everything. It must have been hundreds of thousands of dollars they spent on this. So it's a serious investment to show how serious they are about this. I think that's how I felt about it. But yeah, we'll have to see, obviously, what else they are coming out with. But yeah, it's very exciting.
Interesting, because I'm seeing more and more brands now. I've been working in digital for a long time. You know, I started working when it was chat rooms and forums back in 2001. So I've seen pretty much the beginning of everything. There's certain things that happen where brands do certain moves that says, okay, this is serious. And from what you're saying to me when it comes to this, what Coca's doing, and I've seen other brands really kind of look into this space, you can tell that this is not a fad. You know, you can tell that there's a lot of money kind of going into this and a lot of investment and resources when it comes to generative AI, predictable AI, more from a marketing point of view, not necessarily from a coding and all of the like engineering and all of the technical side of things that goes way above my head. So very interesting space, because like were any other brands there? You said agencies, were they working with brands there? Like, did they talk about what people are doing? Is there like are they getting from their clients? What are we doing in like
yeah, definitely. Like, they even invited 2 fashion brands to be part of the collaboration. One was Bape, which is an amazing Japanese streetwear brand. Bathing Ape, and the High Sobriety, which is a very high fashion brand that were doing like New York Fashion Runway the next week, and there was part of a collaboration there as well.
Wow. So it's just a matter of time, really, before more and more brands get in this space. And it's interesting that Coca-Cola made this commitment, because I remember you telling me that Coca-Cola really is kind of been, when it comes to marketing, they're very early adopters with a lot of stuff that they're doing, you know. So the fact that they've jumped into this, the fact that they're obviously making a commitment from a resource point of view, time, money, etc. What you're going to find in a lot of our episodes, I think more and more, is us talking about what brands are doing. Because like I said, I've seen this story before many times, and I've seen ones where half commitment and it doesn't really kind of work, and I've seen ones where they're fully committed and they've really worked. And this is following the same footsteps of when I saw social media, you know, the commitment, and it's gone from a fad to people getting involved in it. So I guess it's come to the end of the episode now. So what can we learn from this? Like, let's say, for example, I'm a marketer. What can we learn from this?
Well, yeah, in a nutshell, will the early adopters win?
Interesting.